Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent Nintendo/gaming video for this week, for the week of April 20th to the 26th, 2025. Hopefully you guys had a good Easter, whether it was spending time with friends or family or whoever it may that be. And hopefully those who took part in the Switch 2 pre-orders, whether it's online or going to GameStop, you guys had luck and everything like that. I know not everybody was able to secure a pre-order and everything, but hopefully for those who were planning to get a Switch 2, you were able to secure one. I did. I was able to secure mine at Walmart after, well, I would say their experience getting the Switch 2 from them was, I would say, easier than what I saw with Target, which to me was just a nightmare to begin with in terms, even if you got it into your cart, there were issues, here and there trying to get a Switch 2 from them. Best Buy, I think, fared a bit better, although they had a line and pre-order started a bit later. But Walmart, I think, was the one that really was, I would say, not as frustrated as Target was. Still some hurdles, but not as frustrated. So either way, I was able to secure, at least I was able to get a Switch 2 pre-order from Walmart and everything like that. So hopefully for you guys out there who are planning to get a Switch 2, like I said, hopefully you were able to secure one, whether it's online or if you were to go to your GameStop to see if they had enough Switch 2s there for you to pre-order and everything like that. So hopefully you guys were able to secure one. But anyway, we got 4 stories to cover, including a bit more issues regarding the Switch 2 key cards that for importers, though, this could be an issue depending on how you want to look at it, though. The Circana numbers for March 2025 are certainly out, and it's certainly good news for those who enjoyed Assassin's Creed Shadow. The surprise release of Oblivion Remastered Remake has been released on the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S and PC. And of course, we have sort of now confirmed at least some stuff in regards of DLSS in the Nintendo Switch 2 and all. If you're interested in where I got the source of this information, links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube or Patreon, along with the timestamp as well if there are certain parts of this video you wish to skip to and all. But before we get started, I like to do what I like to call the quick My 2 Cent, stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail. So the first one has to do with basically the Nintendo Switch Online expansion library has went through, as it seems as though they've added a Fire Emblem game, the Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem. I believe it's called the Scarlet Stone, if I'm saying the name correctly, though. So clearly they're adding more to the library and all. Obviously, that library is going to also grow once we start seeing GameCube games make its way onto this Nintendo Switch library. Obviously, that's going to be for the Switch 2 and all. And it's going to be really interesting to see should or if something like, say, the Wii library makes its way over. That would be interesting if that does happen, though. We also learned that apparently the actor Paul Rudd, who obviously most know him as Scott Lang playing Ant-Man in the MCU and all, but he also starred in a Super Nintendo commercial back in the 90s, though, and so now he's back, this time doing a commercial for the Switch 2, and they showed him along with several other people using the camera and the chat feature on on the Joy-Cons and everything like that. It was certainly neat. It was kind of clever, and I mean, in a way, I kind of feel old after seeing that ad and everything like that. Although I will say Paul Rudd certainly aged if you see the ad itself, though. But it is a very clever ad, nevertheless, that Nintendo did. We also saw that basically eBay is already flooded with Switch 2 pre-orders at what many view as going to be as outrageous prices, though. This, I'm not completely shocked or anything like that, though. So it isn't a surprise to see that pop up, though. It is unfortunate, but not shocking. I think the concern is right now, since the system isn't out until June 5th, there's basically this whole situation with it being like, it could be just the pre-order ticket or something like that. That's probably not going to be worth much or anything like that. So I would avoid eBay if possible in terms of trying to pre-order a Switch 2 or anything. And finally, we are getting reports of several analysts are starting to weigh in on the possibility of what they think the Switch 2 in terms of how well it will do. Many are pointing out to positive numbers, some saying that they could ship probably more than what we saw with the PS5 when that launched and everything like that. Obviously, there are factors to play into that could basically throw a wrench. There's the whole economic uncertainty along with the tariff situation. So there's a lot of things that could throw that off though. But as of right now, or at least as the recording of this video, a lot of analysts are weighing in and saying, yeah, we think that this basically is going to do very well and everything. And in the movie and TV show part of the Quick My 2 Cent, we are learning that supposedly there will be a movie based off of Sega's arcade game Outrun. And interestingly enough, Michael Bay has been attached to direct this film and everything like that. Now, whether this becomes a success or not remains to be seen. As far as movies Michael Bay has produced or directed though, it could be a hit or miss depending on what that movie that he directed or produced and all. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. But knowing Michael Bay's history, a lot of explosions or something like that. So we'll see how well this one's done. We've seen movies based off of TV shows, based off of video games along with TV shows. Some have found success, like the Super Mario Brothers movie, the Sonic trilogy, Do The Last of Us. Others, like, say, Borderlands and Halo, not so much. So it'll be very interesting to see how this one plays out, though. We're also learning about the possibility of what direction we could see in possibly the third Black Panther movie, as there are reports coming out claiming that we could see, the son of, Chaz Baldwin's character, though, take on the reign as the new Black Panther or the King of Wakanda or something like that. I could see a scenario like that happening, though. It is a possibility, but again, we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out, though, over time. We still haven't heard much about what the third Black Panther movie is going to be like. And we are looking at, it looks like that Marvel will be pushing for more R-rated projects in 2026. This has to do with some success they had with stuff like ranging from, or more mature stuff, ranging from Werewolf by Night to Daredevil, Born Again has been doing very well, to even basically, Deadpool and Wolverine in 2024 last year. That did very well at the box office from Marvel. So it is obviously clear Marvel Studio will be pushing for more R-rated projects, though. I do think some superheroes could fit that R-rated or TVMA approach, though, but I also do acknowledge at the same time not every Marvel character is going to fit that. So I do think it's more than likely it's probably going to be on a case-by-case basis. So at least that's how I'm looking at it, to be exact. Okay, with the quick My 2 Cent part now done, along with the movie and TV show. And also, before we get started, I do want to point out there will be no video review this week. I'm usually going to take the last Saturday of the month off, just to do some things here and there, whether it's in my condo or just relax and all. But just to get that out of the way, though, there won't be any video review for Wednesday, so I'm not going to be shooting a video on Saturday and all. But anyway, so with that part out of the way, we'll get started with our first story, and this one has to do with the Switch 2 DLSS, though. Now, this has been sort of confirmed, this has been sort of reported back, let's just say, years ago when rumors about the Switch successor, some were calling it Switch Pro, others were calling it Switch 2, was reported around that time, and there were basically many were speculating whether or not it would use something called DLSS, which I believe is Deep Learning Sample, I forgot what the other S is, apologize if I'm not getting that correctly, anything like that. It's basically an AI upscaling that NVIDIA had created that sort of takes supposedly images at low res and bring them up and all. It's certainly a neat feature, and we've seen others like AMD do something, I think, with theirs called Deep Learning Sample, something like that, or FSR, if I'm saying the name correctly, though. And there were reports of that being used during, I think, what was called the Switch Sports, which was kind of a successor to Wii Sports to a certain degree though. And at the time, there was a video by Digital Foundry that came out that they were looking at, and they didn't see anything with DLSS, but there has been some back and forth whether or not people agree with what Digital Foundry said or not. Everyone has their different view on that. Well, now it seems to indicate that we are now learning that it is possible that, or at least been confirmed, at least by the developers, that DLSS is being used for Cyberpunk 2077 though. From an article from Nintendo Life, it reads that, quote, CD Projekt Red has confirmed to Digital Foundry that the Switch 2 launch title Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition will make use of DLSS, NVIDIA's AI power upscaling system. According to what CD Projekt Red is saying though, we are using a version of DLSS available for the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware powered by NVIDIA's Tensor Core, a CD Projekt Red representative told Digital Foundry. The game utilizes DLSS in all 4 modes, in handheld and dock, and in performance and quality variation of each. It's believed that in terms of performance mode, they have what's called a balance mode that supposedly bumps the frame rate up to 40 frames per second. At least that's what I've read before in the past. Quote, DLSS has already been confirmed for Switch 2, but Cyberpunk 2077 is the first known title to make use of it. Although there has been reports coming out now that Street Fighter 6 for the Nintendo Switch is also using DLSS as well. It also concludes that, quote, CD Projekt Red also confirms that the current target for Switch 2 version of the game is 2 different graphic modes and a quality and performance toggle for the handheld and dock version, according to Digital Foundry Richard Lederbetter. When connected to a TV, there is a choice of a 30 frames per second quality mode and a 40 frames per second performance mode. The latter, which presumably operates only with the TV with 120 Hz mode. A new frame for every 3 display refresh up against the 30 FPS quality mode, which delivers a new frame for every other refresh. With constant performance, both should look smooth with a 40% mode sitting between 30 and 60 in terms of fluidity. Both modes are using 1080p and the output resolution with dynamic resolution scaling in effect in combination with DLSS. When playing in handheld, quality mode outputs at 1080p image with DLSS and dynamic resolution scaling, again aiming for 30 frames per second, while performance mode drops the resolution to 720p with handheld screen running in 128 Hz mode at 40 frames per second being the target frame rate though. So if what CD Projekt Red is saying is correct though, that certainly is interesting indeed. That along with Street Fighter 6, them using DLSS is certainly neat indeed. And I do see the potential of using this kind of technology if it helps developers, especially if they want to bring their games over to the Switch 2 and everything like that. So it certainly is a unique tool, and it'll be very interesting to see if we start seeing other developers start utilizing DLSS though. Although we do know that the option is there, and we also do know that supposedly they don't have to use NVIDIA's DLSS. They could use, I think, AMD's own version of DLSS. I think it's called FSR. Again, I apologize, I'm not getting the name correctly though. So certainly interesting indeed, and I could see Nintendo possibly pushing more for the DLSS type going forward, for maybe if like a Switch 3 ever happens though, or anything like that. But one area I will admit that I am kind of curious about is what form of DLSS is Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition and even Street Fighter 6 using. And there are some speculations. Some are looking at this as this is using DLSS 3.0. Others believe that it is possible they are using basically a custom-made version, though, designed specifically for the Switch 2, that maybe Nintendo and NVIDIA teamed up to work something out, though. But in either case, though, it's still impressive nevertheless. So overall, Nice to know that that one of the first games, Cyberpunk 2077, is using DLSS for the Switch 2, along with the other game, Street Fighter 6, using DLSS. And I am very curious to see how other developers down the road will utilize DLSS if they decide to take advantage of it, especially if they're trying to bring their games over to the Switch 2 and all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2. And this one has to do with the surprise shadow drop of the Elder Scroll Oblivion Remastered or Remake, depending on how you want to call it. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Oblivion Remaster or Remake. I'm not sure which one it is. It's one or the other, which was interestingly surprise dropped and everything. Now, Oblivion, the remake or remaster of Oblivion was considered probably the worst kept secret. There were rumors that were going around for this one for a while though, and Oblivion is considered held by high regards to those who are, basically Bethesda fans and everything like that. I never got a chance to play Oblivion until, recently when it showed up, as one of the titles you could download on Game Pass, and I'm talking about the 2006 release on the Xbox 360 and all. So it was kind of interesting when Bethesda and Microsoft kind of shadow dropped this one, much like how we've seen before with Microsoft in the past when they did that with Hi-Fi Rush. They also did that with, the Ninja Gaiden 2 remake, that got shadow dropped as well. So it was certainly interesting indeed, and it seems to be the game is off to a good start, at least based on if you look at the Steam charts or depending on where you look and all. The game is currently available on the PS5, and it will be available, and it's also available on the Xbox Series X and S and PC, and it's also on Game Pass as well. Anyway, from an article on GameStop, they point out that the game is basically the standard edition is $50, while the $60 for the deluxe version right now. The game, they point out how it's developed by Virtuos in partnership with Bethesda, running on Unreal Engine 5, sporting better visuals. They point out that the remaster version includes the base game and story expansion, Shiver Islands, if I'm saying the name correctly, and Knights of the Nine. They points out beyond the update, the game features a new leveling system. Some of the other things, and this is pointed out by Microsoft, is the hub and menu and map has been reworked, improved UI for systems like Persuasion, Clairvoyance, and more, modification to level encumbrance, if I'm saying the name correctly, non-combat perks and other mechanics, improve enemy scaling, enhance accessibility features, additional autosave, revise first-person and third-person camera. They also point out the deluxe edition, the $60 one, includes the horse armor set, which I remember reading how that caused some controversies back in the day when that was announced and everything. Along with special armor and weapons, players can also get the digital art book and soundtrack app, along with the Fighter Stronghold expansion, Spell Tomb treasures, Vile Lair, Muhum Razor, The Thieves' Den, Wizard Tower, Ore, and Horsepack armor and all. So certainly a very interesting surprise shadow drop indeed from Bethesda and Microsoft and all. I'm currently downloading it on my Xbox Series S, although it's been reported that the Series S version runs at 30 frames per second. So unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's any performance mode. It's possible down the road they could add it in, but as of right now, there's no performance on the Series S version. But it's still very interesting that Bethesda and Microsoft did this, especially now we're seeing Microsoft push more and more towards that third-party approach they have been doing lately though. I'm also very curious to see how well this game will do in terms of sales-wise, because if it does do well in sales, I do think it can open the door to the possibility of maybe a remaster or remake of Fallout 3 or even New Vegas, if that does happen. So it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. It also could maybe open the door to maybe they do a remake or remaster of Elder Scrolls Morrowind, if I'm saying that name correctly, the one that was released I believe on PC and the original Xbox. So certainly would be interesting if that does happen. Of course, I'm sure Microsoft and Bethesda will be looking to see how well Oblivion does in general. And while there hasn't been a Switch version announced at this time, there are rumors about a Switch version in the works, though. If a Switch 2 version to be exact, if a Switch 2 version does happen, my guess is probably going to be a while until we see it, though. So I'm not surprised when it won't be seen at launch and everything. Exactly how they will bring this version over to Switch 2 kind of remains to be seen. It remains to be seen if a physical version does happen. If it does, will they be able to squeeze it into the Switch 2 cartridge, or is it going to be a game key or the dreaded empty box with a piece of paper? So we'll have to wait and see when the Switch 2 version does happen, though, and if so, what kind of approach Microsoft and Bethesda will take in regards to that. But overall, very interesting shadow drop indeed from Microsoft and Bethesda, though. It is certainly one I'm going to be trying out on my Series S through VI Game Pass and everything like that. And it will be very interesting to see how well this one does, if this opens the door to even more remakes or remaster from Microsoft and Bethesda too. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3, and this one has to do with the March 2025 Circana number. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my 2 cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at the March 2025 Circana numbers. Now, those officially came out courtesy of Matt Piscatella, and one of the games in particular is Assassin's Creed Shadow. I think there were those who were kind of looking at to see how well did that game did. Did it do enough to, in any way save Ubisoft or anything like that? And as well as other games, indeed. And based off of what Circana is reporting, though, I'm sure Ubisoft is certainly happy, but whether or not this game did well enough for them to put them in a better position than where they were before, that, however, remains to be seen. And according to what Matt Piscatella posted on BlueSky, in terms of the top 20 best-selling premium games for March 2025, he has Assassin's Creed Shadow at number 1, MLB The Show 25 at number 2, Monster Hunter Wilds at number 3. Last month it was at number 1. WWE 2K25 at number 4. Split Fiction at number 5. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at number 6. PGA Tour 2K25 at number 7. NBA 2K25 at number 8. Bleach Rebirth of Soul at number 9. Kingdom Come Deliverance number 2 at number 10. It was at number 2 last month. Minecraft at number 11. Grand Theft Auto 5 at number 9. At number 12, because why not? And I'm sure some of that may be the hype for Grand Theft Auto 6 and everything. EA Sports FC 25 at number 13. Red Dead Redemption 2 at number 14. Madden NFL 25 at number 15. Elden Ring at number 6. At number 16, though, I wonder if some of that may be because of the upcoming Switch 2 version to some extent. Xenoblade Chronicle X at number 17, though. Very interesting to see where that would be next month and everything. Sudoku 1 and 2 HD Remaster at number 18. Marvel Spider-Man 2 at number 19. And EA Sports College Football 25 at number 20. In regards of the year-to-date of the top 20 best-selling premium games, they have Monster Hunter Wilds at number 1, Assassin's Creed Shadow at number 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 at number 3, MLB The Show 25 at number 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at number 5, WWE 2K25 at number 6, Civilization, I believe it was 6, or unfortunately I can't read Roman numerals and numbers very well. But anyway, it's at number 7. NBA 2K25 at number 8. PGA Tour 2K25 at number 9. Split Fiction at number 10. Grand Theft Auto 5 at number 11. Minecraft at number 12. I do wonder if some of that could be the success of a Minecraft movie's been doing lately at the box office. Madden NFL 25 at number 13. EA Sports FC 25 at number 14. Red Dead Redemption 2 at number 15. Marvel Spider-Man 2 at number 16. EA Sports College Football 25 at number 17. Hogwarts Legacy at number 18. Elden Ring at number 19, and Evolve at number 20. According to what Matt Piscatella said, in regards of Assassin's Creed, though, he points out and says, quote, Assassin's Creed Shadow was the best-selling title in March, instantly becoming the second best-selling game of 2025 year-to-date. Assassin's Creed Shadow finished this month ranking first in full dollar sales on Xbox platform, and second on both PlayStation and Steam. So, hopefully, obviously, I'm sure Ubisoft must be pretty happy about this. In terms of the top 10 best-selling games for March 2025 on PlayStation, he basically has MLB The Show 25 at number 1, Assassin's Creed Shadow at number 2, WWE 2K25 at number 3, Monster Hunter Wilds at number 4, Split Fiction at number 5, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at number 6, NBA 2K25 at number 7, PGA Tour 2K25 at number 8, Bleach Rebirth of Souls at number 9, and EA Sports FC 25 at number 10. In regards of basically the Xbox platforms, we have Assassin's Creed Shadow at number 1, WWE 2K25 at number 2, Monster Hunter Wilds at number 3, Split Fiction at number 4, PGA Tour 2K25 at number 5, NBA 2K25 at number 6, Grand Theft Auto 5 at number 7, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at number 8, The Elder Scrolls Online at number 9, and Minecraft at number 10. In regards of the Switch or Nintendo system, though, we have Xenoblade Chronicles X at number 1, Mario Kart 8 at number 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree at number 3, Hello Kitty Island Adventure at number 4. Say what you will about that one, but it's there though. Sudoku 1 and 2, if I'm saying the name correctly, at number 5, Minecraft at number 6, Donkey Kong Country Returns at number 7, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at number 8, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 9, and Just Dance 2025 edition at number 10. So I would say probably the two big takeaways, at least from my view, is obviously Assassin's Creed Shadow doing very well at the number 1 spot, though. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, Ubisoft must be happy about it. Whether or not this helps or hurt Ubisoft remains to be seen, because I'm pretty sure most of you are aware of that Ubisoft really kind of dug themselves into the situations they're currently in. They're supposed to be working out something with Tencent. Whether that succeeds or fails, it remains to be seen, though. But it is possible Assassin's Creed Shadow did throw Ubisoft a lifeline. So it will be very interesting to see where this game's going forward, especially with the upcoming sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, which will be out later this year. So it's very good to at least get this game out now before the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima come out, though. Seeing Xenoblade Chronicles X on this list, even though it's at number 17, although at number 1 on Nintendo, is certainly nice indeed that we're seeing the game get a second chance, even though when it was released on the Wii U, it wasn't, well, let's just say the Wii U wasn't in the best possible position out there. So certainly nice to see that. Indeed, though, I hope to see the game hopefully do very well, and I'm hoping this opens the door for Monolith and Nintendo to maybe do a Xenoblade Chronicle X2 if that ever happens or anything. So certainly nice to see that game in the list, though, and to see a sort of what a retro RPG Sudoku 1 and 2 making on that list is also very impressive indeed. That certainly is very interesting though. It is going to be really interesting to see how games like Mario Kart 8 and all does. I do wonder if some of that is the hype building up for Mario Kart World. I'm aware about the $80 price tag. I know it's controversial, and I know it certainly is debatable. And to see Donkey Kong Country Returns on the top best premium games on the Nintendo platform certainly does seem to indicate there's hype for the upcoming Donkey Kong Bonanza that will be out in July. So it will be very interesting to see if we see Tropical Freeze or Return still maintain on this list. So overall, I would say probably the big winner for March 2025 Circana, at least in my view, is Assassin's Creed Shadow. It's obviously a title that needed to succeed for Ubisoft, and it sounds like it did, although some of that will be based on the expectation Ubisoft set for Assassin's Creed Shadow. And to see Xenoblade Chronicles X make it on the list in the top 20 or become the number one on the top 10 for Nintendo platforms is certainly nice indeed. I'm hoping that they can continue with the series. I know Monolith is working on something else though, or anything like that, but I wouldn't mind seeing a Xenoblade Chronicles X2 if that ever happens at all though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to our fourth and final part of my 2 cent video, and this one's going to be focused on the Switch 2 key cards and something that may not sit well for those who might choose to import Switch 2 games or anything like that. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video, and for this one, I'm going to be talking about, Switch 2 key cards, which are, for lately, since they've been announced, they've been sort of controversial, to be exact, though. Now, for those who are not aware, the idea behind the key cards are basically that once you insert the physical card into the Switch 2, they basically are going to download the game, off the internet and all. This is completely different than what we're seeing with games like Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, which basically, at least according to what CD Projekt Red is saying, is the full game along with the DLC is basically going to be in the entire Switch 2 cartridge though. And some have sort of criticized other developers who are taking the key card approach, including Square Enix with the remake of Bravely Default from the original game back on the original 3DS, how that one is using a Switch key card despite supposedly reports coming around 10 gigabytes and everything like that. Well, now it does seem to indicate that there is a report coming out that even in Japan, we are seeing reports that indicate that they too are going to be using game key cards, which is different, at least from my perspective, from what we saw during the Switch 1 era, where putting aside the fact that the Switch was region free, which is something I absolutely agree with, and I think that was a smart move on Nintendo's part, there have been times when some people would import, the Japanese version or the Asian version or European version because it's like the full game in the cart rather than how it here is in the West. One example is Final Fantasy X and X2, where here in the US, you had only Final Fantasy X on the Switch game cart, while X2 you had to download, while in Asia, you had both games into one Switch, one cart and everything like that. So this announcement, it certainly has not sat well, especially for those who are considering importing games and everything like that. But anyway, in a report from Nintendo Life, it reads, and they also offered an update pointing out that Sega Switch 2 game cards are up for pre-order as well. It basically points out that this was originally highlighted. It basically said, quote, it's not the best news for physical collectors when it comes to specific games, and now following Switch 2 software pre-orders going live in Japan, it's been reported that most third-party releases so far in the region are game key cards, and they point out games like Sonic and Shadow Generation, Yakuza 0, Director's Cut, and Sudoku. They all point that out. They also point out Bravely Default, and several other games to be exact though. So yeah, I think for those who are thinking about importing the game from Japan or another place, expecting the full game to be on the Switch 2 cartridge, it's sounding like that's not going to be the case, and that those are going to have the game key cards as well. However, Marvelous USA has recently come out and sort of confirmed that their games, or at least the ones available at launch, are going to be the full game basically in the cartridge though. This is sort of a comment that they mentioned. They quote, "We've seen some confusion about our upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 releases. Our physical edition for Rune Factory, Story of Season, and Damien X Machina in the West will feature the full game in the cartridge. Hope that helps clear things up. If what Marvelous USA is saying, that's good. I think that's great that now those games will be available in the entire cartridge, and it's not going to be the game key card or the dreaded, empty box with a piece of paper with a code on it, which has now been reported that Split Fiction from EA, that's what it's going to be for the Switch 2 and all. So yeah, but still, the game keycard situation is still controversial nevertheless. And I understand some of the criticisms towards it though, especially when you have CD Projekt Red squeezing Cyberpunk 2077 and its DLC into a 64-bit or a 68-bit, if I'm saying the number correctly, Switch 2 game cartridge though. On the other hand, I also do acknowledge some of the other side of the coin is that it's basically better than the empty box with a piece of paper. Plus, since the game key cards are not tied to your account, you could resell or buy the games used. So there is still a silver lining to this though, but I am still mixed on it, and I still understand some of the criticism towards it though. And it's going to be interesting to see what impact this has, especially for businesses like Play Asia, which does offer, imports of Switch games that you can import and play on your Nintendo Switch though. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond to this. I'm not sure they are going to be 100% happy about it. And it'll also be interesting to see if Limited Run Games decides to do the Switch 2 games with the full game inside and not the game key card. So that's going to be interesting as well. So overall, it does sound like there's some bad news for now for those who are hoping to import, Switch 2 games, because we're going to see the game key cards. But we'll have to see down the road if developers continue to take that approach or not. And it is also unfortunate hearing about Split Fiction being the empty box with a piece of paper. However, if what Marvelous USA is saying is true, and hopefully it is, it's nice to know that some of the games they have at launch are going to be the physical games in the actual cartridge and everything like that. So again, it's still controversial, and there are going to be many people are going to be mixed about the whole Switch 2 game key cards and all. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about the report of Cyberpunk 2077 and Street Fighter 6 using Switch 2's DLSS though? Do you think this is certainly good news indeed? Do you think this can open the door for more developers to bring their games over to the Switch 2 using DLSS though? Do you think that's something Nintendo should, focus more on going forward with, like future Switch systems or future systems they may put out though? Do you think they're using maybe DLSS 3.0 or a different number, or do you think it's a completely custom-made one between Nintendo and NVIDIA? What are your thoughts about the Oblivion Remastered and Remake though? Were you surprised by this announcement, or do you feel like it was the worst kept secret out there in any way? Are you planning to get the game? Are you planning to get it on the PS5 or the Xbox Series X and S? Or are you planning to get it on PC or Game Pass for that matter? And do you think it's possible this game could make its way over to the Switch 2 and all? What are your thoughts about March 2025's Circana numbers though? Were you surprised to see Assassin's Creed Shadow make it to the top list in any way? Do you think this will help Ubisoft, or you don't think it will have any impact on Ubisoft at all? Were you also surprised to see Sudoku 1 and 2 make it on the list, and even Xenoblade Chronicles X as well? And what are your thoughts about this situation surrounding the Switch 2 key cards, especially in Japan? Does this sort of throw a wrench at any ideas of you thinking maybe you can import the game from, buy the game from PlayAsia and import it and not have to worry about the game key card situation? Are you glad that Marvelous USA, at least according to them, that their game that's at launch is going to be the full game in the Switch 2 Switch 2 cartridges? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal Me, Patreon, or Steam Labs. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this either on YouTube or Patreon. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!